Greetings and welcome to Tea Vybz Tribe. My name is Amaru and this is my wife,
Shana. And for those of you that don't know, we are Our Essence of Serenity, and this is our very first episode on our podcast. So today we're actually going to be talking about the topic of everyone not being able to go with you as you go to higher heights. So let's go ahead and join in. And before we start, let me back up. So with this podcast, what it will consist of is us basically having conversations, sipping tea. So we want y'all to join in on the fun. So get your favorite tea. Also, when you get your tea, make sure that you list down below the benefits of your tea. And let's just go from there. So basically what we're drinking is cherry blossom tea, and we will be sure to list the benefits of the tea in the video. So you want to go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, so pretty much today's topic is everybody can go where you're going. Mm-hmm. And that simply means once you've got to a point in your life to where you've made certain decisions, when you finally realize that enough is enough, when you've gone to a point to where you're tired of being devalued, tired of being, deceived when it comes to those that you put in so much love and dedication towards, when you've completely stripped away from things that just goes against how you truly feel about self, you'll get to a point to where you'll be at peace and you'll establish a new definition of love for yourself. And through that love, you'll be able to love those for who they are because you love yourself for who you are.
So kind of like being okay with the whole thing of putting yourself first and not feeling like you're being selfish.
Yeah. Because my whole life, most of my life, I was very selfless. I was very hell bent and what's the best way of putting this? I was a strong advocate on putting people before myself.
Yeah.
And I did that with a lot of individuals, and even individuals that took advantage of me. And it's like my whole thing is, certain times I would know, hoping that they would just see the love behind it that would make them want to change, but it really doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It really is based off the individual. They got to want to change for themselves. But just more so getting to a point to where it's like, I'm happy at being able to make decisions finally for myself and not just helping others, but also including myself. In other words, it's like giving people pieces of your pie and you don't even know what yours tastes like. So now I'm at a point to where it's like, I'm not just, cutting my pieces. I'm actually whipping it up. I'm putting certain ingredients in and taking stuff out that didn't even belong, that was influenced by something that wasn't even of me or my essence. So I'm at a point now to where it's like, I'm happy and I'm passionate with knowing what it means to actually live while including myself.
And because you're being so strategic when it comes to, like you said, how you're whipping the pie up, it holds more value to you.
Right.
So now it's more important to you. If you do share slices of the pie, it makes it more important to you who's receiving that pie.
Exactly.
Because you know the work that you're putting into. And so it's like, if you know you had to put work into it, then you're not just going to let this person that hasn't did anything and that don't have your best interest be able to get a slice of the pie. Right. I remember when you used a demonstration with myself and someone that I used to be friends with. Remember when you took us into her kitchen and you poked holes into the styrofoam cup and you were pouring water into it? And basically what you were letting us know is that if we, how can I put it, to whereas it doesn't confuse people. If we're not taking care of home, meaning if we're not taking care of self, and if we're not tending to self, and if we're not making sure that we're putting in the work when it comes to ourselves, that's just creating these voids. And so as blessings and stuff is being poured into us, it's also seeping out through these places that we neglect. And I think a lot of times when people allow that to happen, one of the key places that become neglected is the fact that, oh, this person is not even supposed to be in my space. So that's something that's very, very key. I remember, for me, speaking of that same friend, remember, she reached out to me after not speaking to me for years, even after I reached out. And typically I would be the type of person that when me and a friend kind of went our separate ways, I wouldn't be the one that would explain to them why it is that you're here and I'm here. But for her, I think the hardest thing I actually had to do was to explain to her basically that life has moved me on, and in her silence, I've been shown that she wasn't meant to go with me, to continue with me on my path. So before we go more into detail with this topic, we are very excited to announce that we have our very first sponsor. So let's go ahead and check that out. This video is sponsored by Tea Vybz, which is a holistic line created by Our Essence of Serenity. The relaxation butter is a moisturizing butter that is infused with catnip. Catnip is known to provide a calming effect and aids with skin irritation. Our relaxation butter also has shea butter, which is known to aid with stretch marks, dry skin, dandruff, prevent cell damage, enhance skin texture, and more. We've also included oils such as jojoba oil, vitamin E oil, and more. Not only is our relaxation butter beneficial for the skin, but it's also beneficial for the hair as it reduces split ends, makes the hair shinier, and provides moisture to the hair. To read more about our relaxation butter, be sure to check out our website, www.ouressenceofserenity.net, under the Tea Vybz tab.
And we're back. So as we were discussing, going to certain places and not including those that you thought may, come with you, or those that you thought would be by your side, but made their own decisions or didn't, weren't too appeased to your own decisions and making yourself a better individual. So I truly believe one of the main things that has helped me get through my transition is realizing that a lot of what we go through individually, and especially as melanated individuals, is the conditioning. Like, we grow into these constructs that are literally programmed into us because of what's been passed down. It's family.
You look after family.
Right. Being religion, whether it be a certain type of heritage, whether it be a certain type of culture. And there's nothing wrong with embracing your culture. But it's one thing to discover it for yourself and have those such as your elders guide you and showing you the right way of getting to that place, than somebody just forcing something on you and you accepting it as your own. It doesn't always mix when it comes to identifying who and what you are. So when you're going to these particular places, it's getting to a point to where you have to literally be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You got to break out of certain barriers and know that I'm making the right decision for myself. This isn't about what somebody thinks or what somebody may feel that you even look up to. That's their life. They are living their life. They made their decisions. What does your life mean to you? So you'll get to a point to where it's like how you tell me how your folks have raised you, on how you don't tell every adult yes sir and no sir, because they have to earn that. Respect is earned. So when you get to a point to where it's like, okay, I had to cut certain individuals off because they want to stay at a particular frequency, and I got plans. I got a particular goal within myself to get to, as far as things that I manifested, not just for myself, but for our family. So it's to a point to where it's like, I got to be comfortable with allowing myself to realize that no matter how much I may care about a particular individual, if it's not of my best well-being, if it's not going to get me to where I need to be, if it's going to hold me back, I got to be comfortable with letting that individual go.
So it's like you keeping the main focus, just thinking about the bigger picture.
Thinking about the bigger picture and putting yourself first, because a lot of people, and I'm not speaking on selfishness, because selfishness is based off of wanting to take something that doesn't belong to you because you're not willing to put that work in for yourself. What I'm speaking on is putting yourself as a dominant, putting yourself as the primary, because if you don't know how to love yourself for who you truly are, how can you really genuinely say that I love the person for who they are? Like, it doesn't work that way. You have to know and redefine what love means for you. So when you take that forward, as you're growing, as you're progressing, as you're transitioning, you're redefining what worth means to you as far as how you value yourself. And the more you see how beautiful individual you truly are, the more it just gets to a point to where as things are just at peace.
Yeah.
You'll literally get to a point to where it's like, I don't have to worry about how people feel or how people think, not because you allowed that to control you, but because you cared about that individual.
Right. Their opinion held value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like we were just saying, like, that's just like respect. If it ain't earned, then
Right, it shouldn't be given.
it shouldn't be given.
And it doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful,
Right.
but it just means that person, it could be that the respect, not giving them the respect means not having them in your space at all, not allowing them in your space at all. I also believe that sometimes when it's not meant for a person to go where you're going, it could be a thing of them going where you're going is going to hinder them from their blessings over here.
Right.
It could be that leading up to that point, y'all were meant to be with each other and learn. And I'm not just speaking on intimate couples, but just different type of relationships, period. It was meant for y'all to have that bond up to this certain point, to get y'all to this point so that they could continue to progress going this way and you going this way. So sometimes it's not always a thing of this person not having your best interest at heart, or anything dealing with negativity. And I think a lot of times we try to take people with us because we're experiencing these blessings, and we want those who we love and those that we're close with to experience them as well. But we don't realize these blessings are for you, and you could be shortchanging them because their blessings over here may be on a whole nother magnitude for them. So just I think one of the ways in which people can learn to decipher what it is that they should do is by making sure that you're able to be in close communication with God, Most High, the universe, whatever you choose to call the source, but just making sure that you have that foundation so that not only can you avoid messing up your blessings, but you can avoid from unintentionally messing up this other person's blessings. So yeah,
I strongly agree. One thing that I've learned along my journey, especially in these moments, is utilizing help that I didn't realize was with me the whole time.
Yeah.
Like my ancestors. Like my ancestors have been there just waiting for me to not just acknowledge them, but to inherit the teachings that were based off lessons that they acquired when they were once here, when they, journeyed along that path, as they're still journeying along that path.
Yeah.
Just because they're not here in the living doesn't mean that they're still doing what they need to do upon, their journey.
Right. It doesn't mean that God is not still able to utilize them when it comes to being of assistance for you on your path. A lot of times we think that once someone is no longer here in the flesh, we forget that the spirit lives on. Right. So being open to, and it doesn't have to be the ancestors. Everybody doesn't agree with when it comes to communicating with their ancestors, but whatever your spiritual beliefs are, whatever your spiritual practices are, I believe that when you're being elevated and when you're facing a situation of having to cut ties with people that you were once so close with, needing that spiritual foundation, because that's what you're going to need to pull from. Because anytime we're experiencing change, at times it can be difficult. At times, believe it or not, being blessed can be overwhelming. It can come with guilt, especially when you're having to feel like you're leaving this person behind. So we are, our essence of serenity is we're very spiritual. So you will hear us speak on certain aspects of our spiritual path in this podcast, but we do encourage everyone to whatever you believe in, making sure that you're incorporating that when it comes to knowing who needs to go with you and who can't. Because when you've been elevated, it's been based off of the hard work and sacrifice that you put in. So you don't want to let your emotions get in the way of your blessing. So
I strongly agree. I feel that, when you know your reason why you acquire certain things and you apply them, it makes it that much more meaningful.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to have religion as a forefront, but have you really questioned why I take to this religion so much? Is it the relationship? Is it, the certain fundamentals of it that I resonate with? Or am I really more so drawn to the relationship with the God that I believe in or that's incorporated within this religion? So in other words, the religion, if anything, is just a tool that connects you with the relationship that you have with whatever deity that you're with. So yeah.
So at this time, we would like to invite you all to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, share this video because you don't want to get in the way of the universe conveying this message to the person that it's meant to reach. Also, be sure to comment your thoughts down below. We want y'all to engage in the comments because this is actually, like, even though we're having this discussion, it's actually an open discussion. And we want to hear y'all thoughts as well. Our goal is to reach those who need to hear it. And sometimes what they need to hear when it comes to our podcast, it may not necessarily come out of our mouth, but it may come out of you engaging in the comments below. It may be a comment that you leave that may really just give that person the clarification that they need. Also, be sure to check out our website, www.ouressenceofserenity.net, where we make high vibrational jewelry as well as the body butter that you saw. We also have a product called the Elixir. We have our artwork on there. So be sure to check out our website. Anything you want to add?
Stay true to yourself, love yourself, and in these dire times, stay lifted.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And until next time, you all take care.